Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Gardening with Grayson. So I'm standing in the middle of my stamped concrete patio. This patio is on the south side of my home. The last video I did was on the eastern side of my house, and that is the paver patio. So these two patios are separated by a large deck here. So in today's video, I'm going to be loading this with furniture and decorating it. So I just wanted to bring you all along for the journey. A little bit about this area. It comes right down off the deck, and then there's a sidewalk that wraps around to my side gate, which wraps around to the west side of my home and to my driveway and garage area. This is where the lion head fountain resides that I restored a couple of videos ago. It's situated in between these beautiful old river birch trees and these enormous Chindo viburnum. I'm 6'2", and these shrubs are at least, 8 to 10 feet tall. So they are enormous. I just wanted to show you how I think about this space, how I'm going to design it, and how I'm going to decorate it with furniture and plants. So the first thing that I usually try to think about is the position of the furniture, how the traffic flows, how people will enter and exit off of this space. You want to keep all of your areas free of any furniture or plants, and keep that in mind as you're decorating your space, because the last thing you want to do is try to navigate around a bunch of furniture. You don't want any tripping hazards, especially if you have any dinner parties or cocktail parties. You just don't really want that. I've loved this space for years, and it is just a great little spot. It's different. It has a different vibe and different feel from the paver patio. The paver patio is more cozy and more private. This one's larger and more open and a little more grand. So I just wanted to bring you along for the process and show you how I go about decorating this patio. So what do you say? Here we go. Best glass cleaner I've found. Invisible glass. So this bistro set is Hampton Bay. You know, I don't necessarily go for name brands, but I do go for what is appealing to me for the space. So I needed a small little bistro set for over here, and I saw this one, I believe at Lowe's or Home Depot, and just picked it up. It was on sale, and I got it for a really good price. And again, this is a Hampton Bay collection. You know, there's so many different options, and all of those things make a big difference of how your guests, you know, sit down, if they have to pull the chair out from underneath the table, if they can just walk up and sit down, if you want them to be included in your conversation, if you want it to be more of an intimate conversation, you can face your chairs together. I mean, just if you're having breakfast, if you're having coffee, if you're reading the paper together, or you can just turn them straight out. And then this way it kind of faces the whole conversation, and they have the whole table scape. So, and then just stand back and take a look at it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I like them a little more on the diagonal. And again, with this patio being round, you can do squares and square everything up. Real quick on the patio cushions, the reason that I go with a pattern like this is because it gives me more color options to play around with. You see celery green, you see hunter green, you see a teal blue green, you see like a burnt orange. So that there's even like a creamsicle orange in here as well, if you can see that. And what that does is it gives me options to play around with in my accessories. You'll also be able to go in and choose your corresponding throw pillows that'll also go with this. If you do, you know, teal, or if you do like a burnt orange, or even that creamsicle orange, usually I'll stand back and I'll say, okay, what color do I see the most of? Number one, what is the number one color that I see? And then I go in and say, well, what's the secondary color that I see? Well, for me, I see green and I see this teal. So I'll either pull those colors out, or either I'll go in and pull a color out that I don't see a lot of, and then that will just kind of tie it all together. So that's my design thought process through all the cushions and trying to decorate these patios. So here we go. I'm not sure if y'all have ever seen a cicada live and in person, but this is what they look like. They are big, huge bugs with wings, and they are everywhere this year. We have had an unusually huge amount of cicadas, but I hope that you can see that. They sound like gigantic crickets, and they just make that big buzzing sound, and they're all over. There were a couple on the patio, and I just picked this one up to show you all. So I hope that you all can see that. So there you go. That is a cicada. So another key element that I like to bring into my patio design is some sort of lighting. So I do have patio lighting, which you may have seen whenever I first started the video, but I also love to bring in flame. These are little torches, little torchieres, and just something for extra illumination. The flicker of the flame, I usually do citronella oil in them, and I don't burn them all the time, but if I'm having a dinner party or a gathering of friends and family, I'll usually light these, and it just gives a great ambiance at night. So I just usually place these all around the patio. I think I have 4 or 5 of them, so I just kind of dot them around. It seems like it's trying to sprinkle just a little bit, so we may have to go inside. These are just little mosaic colored little lanterns. And again, all those little colors, there's navy blue, there's like a burnt orange, there's a celery green, and all of those colors kind of tie back into all my furniture. So hey, just let your imagination go wild with you and step outside of the box just a bit. You know, I was always very monochromatic, or, you know, always use solid colors, never wanted to step out of the box. Hey, there's so many options, why not? If I don't like it, I can always change it back. So I mean, you can certainly have, you know, a patio with just furniture on it, but once you begin to bring in fountains, the sound of water, lighting, music, soft glow of a lantern, a flickering light of a candle, all your cushions and throw pillows, you begin to make it just like your living room or a bedroom, a room inside of your home. I just look at this as a room outside of the home. This is an extension of my inside. And maybe I'll get a chance to show you inside the house maybe sometime this fall when there's not a whole lot going on in the garden. So these lanterns are just kind of multicolored little tiny mosaics, and I've had them for years, and they're just great. These are wrought iron. They could probably use a nice fresh coat of paint, but for now they still look really good. And usually with the wick, you want to bring it down to about 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch. So the higher your wick, of course, the higher and bigger your flame. So I always keep mine really low because I just want the mood. I don't really want a huge flame. And you should see this patio at night. It is amazing. So I'll try to show you how it looks at night. My coffee is really good this morning. And happy Sunday, by the way. So if I'm having a dinner party or some sort of a gathering and people enter in through the side gate to the party, once they walk through this archway, they're greeted by 2 torches, and that gives a really nice ambient glow. Gives a really nice vibe. We have our furniture, we have our cushions, we're beginning to bring in other elements. We have our fountains, our bistro set, and of course, you know, the patio is hardscape, so we want to begin to soften that, and that's really what we're doing. And we soften all the wrought iron furniture with all the cushions. So let's see what's next. You have seen in past videos where I pressure washed the patio and the deck, but I had a couple of boards that needed to be replaced, so I've had those replaced, and this top board was actually one of them. Okay everyone, so here we go. We are going through the arch. This is and I did put a sealant over this to protect it from the elements, but you know what? I know that it's going to wear off after a while, and every 3 or 4 years I'll just redo it, and maybe I'll do it in a different color. Maybe I'll do it in grays next time, but for now I wanted this to look like concrete, and I think that I achieved that look, and it just nestles in beautifully amongst all these huge gigantic Chindo viburnums. And I wanted to talk about these ivy topiaries. So I am 6'2", and these are probably every bit of 5 feet. They have little fleur-de-lis on the top for a finial, little torch behind. And I would never plant ivy in the landscape, ever. It would take over the world. But I put topiary forms. These are just little obelisks, and as you can see how thick the stem is on this ivy, and it has been in these containers for years. And the reason I love ivy in containers is because it is evergreen. It goes dormant in the winter, and then it just comes back to life in the spring. Also, you saw and noticed how I trimmed the ivy up because I want to be able to showcase and see these containers because they are really pretty containers. I've never painted these. They just are grapevines, and they're just really nice containers. I believe I picked these up at Costco 15 years ago. And believe me, it will be right back down on the ground before long. And another reason I keep it trimmed is so it doesn't work its way into the flower bed and root in. So I'm always just kind of pruning, and I used to come out and just wind it around, you know, weave it in and out of the trellis until they got really established. So I have the 2 chairs. Here's a little fountain. and this is going to be for another day. I've had this little boy and girl fountain under this umbrella for years. Also, I went in with 2 shepherd's hooks here, and I just put little black lanterns on them. This is a low sheen, or a low shine, or low gloss, I should say. And it's just perfect. It brings all the colors back. I love this patio. It is just beautiful. There's the chaise lounge. So again, this is the color combination and the same cushion colors and design that I have over on the paver patio that I did in the last video. And then this just wraps back around. As you can see, the deck comes right down right onto this area. Another big macrophylla hydrangea. And so you guys, y'all, I never prune these. I wait until spring when they begin to flush out. And I have pruned blooms off of these, but these are enormous. I mean, gigantic. This is a little bistro set, and again, these cushions mimic the ones on the paver patio and also the throw pillow in the chaise lounge. So it just ties it all together. This is just another little settee, or a little area where people can have conversation. I have a couple of coasters here. This is a clematis. It's kind of dormant. It needs water. I've been lackadaisical on the watering. And this just wraps right back around to the impatiens and the half moon hosta, which has been completely smothered out by the old-timey impatiens, as I call them. And then through the arch, the trumpet vine, and it's in full bloom. Now you see why they call it a trumpet vine. Hummingbirds are all over this vine, y'all. They're out here in the morning and they're out here at dusk, just darting all Thank you for gardening with Grayson. I hope that you were inspired in some way. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it helps me to continue to grow my channel and to bring you more content like this. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.